Hi, this is Hilal. In this video, we will try to solve the questions asked in lecturer economics exam. The first question is the effect of increase in government expenditure on GDP is first option is equal to fall in the taxes by the same amount. Second option is greater than fall in taxes by the same amount. Third option is equal to rise in taxes by the same amount, or D, smaller than the fall in the tax by the same amount. First of all, this government expenditure, if there is increase in the government expenditure, there will be greater than fall in the taxes by the same amount. Why? Because the spending multiplier is always greater than tax multiplier. That means when government spends money, it directly purchases something. That means there will be full amount of change in the aggregate demand. On the other hand, the tax multiplier is when there is decrease in the tax rate. If there is decrease in tax rate, disposable income will increase, but the part of the disposable income will be used for savings and only one part will be used for the spending. That means the tax multiplier will be smaller than the spending multiplier. In this situation, when let us say we have the spending and tax multiplier, if spending is increased by 10%, then aggregate, let us say aggregate demand increases by 8%. 8%. Okay. If tax multiplier, if there is cut in the tax, that is 10% decrease in tax rate will only increase the aggregate demand by, let us say, by 6%. Okay. Why? Because the spending multiplier or increase in the government spending has multiplier effects on the consumption and spending and aggregate demand. Also, though this tax multiplier has also the magnifying effects on the aggregate demand, but its magnitude is always less than the government spending multiplier, or the formula for the spending multiplier, that is government spending multiplier, is always equal to 1 divided by 1 minus MPC, where MPC is the marginal propensity to consume and tax multiplier is given by minus MPC divided by 1 minus MPC. That means government expenditure or spending multiplier will be always greater than the tax multiplier. So increase in the government spending will have greater than fall in taxes by the same amount. Okay. Coming to the next question. The next question is, classical economists said that monetary policy is fully effective. This is known as money neutrality, full crowding out, liquidity trap, or both A and B. Well, it's called the money neutrality. The classical economists propounded that or rather they believe that change in the money supply affects only nominal variables. That is, it only affects the nominal variables. Like the nominal variables are prices or wage rates, but there will be no impact on the real variables. The real variables are, we have the real variables like employment or real GDP or real consumption. So the classical economists believe that change in the money supply affects only the nominal variables and there is no effect on the real variables. This is known as money neutrality. Okay, now this fully crowding out effect is another term. Liquidity trap is other term we will see in the next MCQs. Coming to the next question, uh, if MPC is equal to 0.8, then expenditure multiplier equals. So we know the expenditure multiplier, as we have seen, is equal to 1 divided by 1 minus MPC. Now the MPC is 0.8, so this is 1 divided by 1 minus 0.8. This is 1 divided by 0.2. This is equal to 10 divided by, because this is equal to 2 by 10, so this will become 10 divided by 2, which is equal to 5. So spending multiplier is 5. So option A is correct here. Coming to the next question, which of the following would cause the aggregate supply curve to shift to the right? Okay, if we are given the aggregate supply curve, what will cause it to shift to the right? We will see. First option is an increase in the purchases by the federal government. Second is an increase in the rental interest rate. Third is a positive productivity shock. And fourth one is a decrease in the money supply. Actually, this third option is correct. A positive productivity shock rather will cause the aggregate supply shift to the right. How? Because aggregate supply curve shifts to the right as the productivity increases. If productivity increases, this will directly imply that input prices will decrease. Let us say labor efficiency increases. If labor efficiency increases, that means labor cost will decrease. Because of the decrease in the labor costs, aggregate supply will shift to the right. Okay, so the correct option is positive productivity shock. Similarly, if there is negative productivity shock, then the aggregate supply will shift to the left. This will be caused by the increase in the wage rate of the labor. So in this case, a positive productivity shock like increase in the labor efficiency will decrease the labor costs, which will shift the supply curve to the right. So the correct option to this question is a positive productivity shock. Next question is, suppose the demand for a commodity is perfectly inelastic. Currently 10 units is sold at price 5. After the decrease in supply, the price increases by 10%. The consumer expenses will, A part is increase by 10%, increase by more than 10%, increase by less than 10%, or may increase by any amount. So first of all, we are given, if this is our let us say we have quantity on the horizontal axis, price on vertical axis, our demand curve is inelastic, so price elasticity of demand is 0. It is perfectly inelastic. Now if price is 5, at price 5 we have 10 units. Now when price is 5, 10 units are purchased, then 10 5s are 50. 50 is the initial expenditure. Now after decrease in supply, the price increases by 10%. If initial price was 5, now the price is increased by 10%. Now 10% of 5 is 10% of 5 is equal to, that is 10 divided by 100 into 5. So this is 5 ones are 5 20s are, so 10 divided by 20, this is 0.5. So I will just rub this here. That means new price is 5.5. Okay, now new expenditure will be equal to 5.5 into 10, that is 55. The question says the consumer expenses will, we will see how much percent will it increase or decrease. Original expenses were 50, new expenditure is 55, the difference is 5, divided by original expenditure is 50 times 100, which is equal to 5 tens are 50 divided by 5, which is equal to 10. So the consumer expenses will increase by 10%. Okay. Coming to the next question. Which of the following statements is or true about liquidity trap? We have to see which statement. First, it says interest rate is too low. Yes, this is true because liquidity is a situation where expansionary monetary policy, or we can say if the increase in the money supply is not able to increase the interest rate, and hence does not result in the economic growth or increase in output. So first, the interest rate is too low, money supply cannot affect output, that is also true. Aggregate supply is greater than aggregate demand. I don't know in what context it is saying. Since first two are true, that means the correct option is all of these. So in money, rather in liquidity trap, interest rate is too low, as we know. Also, increase in money supply will not be able to increase the interest rate, hence will not result in any economic growth or change in the economic growth or increase in the output. So I will go for this D part. Coming to the next question. What does the term net GDP mean while denoting nation's economy? Net GDP is equal to net GDP plus depreciation. Net GDP is equal to gross GDP minus depreciation. Net GDP is equal to gross GDP plus interest rate accounted value of capital, or net GDP is equal to gross GDP plus real GDP. The correct option is straightforward, that is net GDP is equal to gross GDP minus depreciation. So there is no explanation needed. Next question is, what is the correct formula for CPI? Current quantities valued at current prices divided by current quantities valued at base prices. Second option is base quantities valued at current prices divided by base quantities valued at base prices. So this is not true. Base quantities valued at current prices divided by base quantities valued at base prices. And D is base quantities valued at base prices divided by current quantities valued at base prices. So the first one is first option is rather true, because CPI is calculated, that is current quantity, let us say Q1 P1 divided by Q1 P0, that is current quantities valued at current prices divided by current quantities valued at base prices. So the correct option is A. And CPI denotes for consumer price index, as we know. Coming to the next question. If utility function is given by u is equal to log of y, the marginal utility is given as x log of x1 by x, none of these. Since u is equal to log of y, marginal utility means change in total utility with 1 unit change in the consumption. So we will see that is the derivative of log of, it is here x. Okay, so it is here x. Now marginal utility is simply the first derivative of total utility. If this is the total utility, its derivative is given by du by dx. Now the derivative of log of x is equal to 1 by x. From the rules of differentiation, you can check my playlist and you will see the rules of differentiation used in economics. So it is not a hard cup of tea. You can also learn the differentiation. It's very easy. So I will repeat here. If we are given log of x, if y is equal to log of x, its derivative is given by dy by dx. That means 1 by x, the derivative of 1 by x is 1 by, sorry, log of x, the derivative of log of x is 1 by x. Similarly, here we were given log of x, it was utility was given as log of x. Now du by dx is equal to simply the derivative of log of x is always equal to 1 by x. So the correct option would be this 1 by x. Next question is, which of the following is narrowest definition of money supply? That is, we are being told to explain the M1. Now it is first option is gold reserve, second is currency in circulation, third is currency in circulation plus demand deposits, and fourth one is demand deposits. The correct option to this is the C option, that is currency in circulation plus demand deposits is the narrowest definition of the money supply. Next question is the derivative of 2x plus x cube is, first is x plus x square, second is 2 plus 3x square, sorry, C option is x plus 3x and D option is x plus 3x cube. So we will see what is the derivative of this. Let us say this is y is equal to 2x plus x cube. Now derivative of this will be dy by dx. The derivative of x is 1, so 2 into 1 is 2, plus the derivative of x cube is, this 3 will become the coefficient, so this becomes 3 times x, and this exponent is subtracted by 1, 3 minus 1, so this will become 2 plus 3x square. So the correct option would be 2 plus 3x square, which is the B option. Actually, one of the most powerful function which we use in economics is called power function rule. That is, if we are given y is equal to x to the power n, then dy by dx means derivative of this function with respect to x is given by this n becomes coefficient. So I'm just trying to explain you. So this will become n times x to the power n minus 1. If you can understand this thing, then there is then it will be very easy for you to understand other stuff. If we are given 4, so I will not explain further here. I have made videos on the rules of differentiation. You can easily go there and check those rules. Next question is, the monetary base consists of A is currency in circulation, B is commercial bank reserves with central bank, C is currency in circulation plus demand deposits. Monetary monetary base is equal to, that is equal to currency in circulation plus the commercial bank reserves with central bank. So the correct option will be D, that is both A and B. Next question that was asked was, the function of government to undo demand shock is known as demand management policy, stabilization policy, growth promoting policy, both A and B. So the correct option is D, both A and B. Demand management policy and stabilization policies are used to undo any demand shock. Next question was, which of the following is not true about the Keynesian economies? First is consumption is stable function of income. Yes, from the consumption function rule, this is true. Investment is function is volatile. Yes, we know. Investment is a function of rate of interest, so this is volatile. Monetary policy is effective in liquidity trap. No, this is not the proposition of the Keynesian economists. They say fiscal policy is effective in liquidity trap, not the monetary policy. So C option is not correct, and last one is government should use fiscal policy, which is true. So And the C option is not true. That is, monetary policy is ineffective rather in liquidity trap. Next question is, the record of countries' international transactions in a given period of time is known as current account, trade account, capital account, budget surplus. Actually, I'm not getting the question. The record of countries' international transactions in a given period of time, as I have read, it is called the balance of payment. But since no option is here of the balance of payment, I don't think any option is correct. I leave it to you. What you say, what is the right answer? I am not sure. But balance of payment is actually the record of countries' international transactions in a given period of time. Next question is, the US definition of exchange rate is dollar per rupee, rupee per dollar, both A and B, none of them. So it is here dollar per rupee. That is dollar per rupee. And we know exchange rate is simply how many units a currency can buy of another currency. So there is nothing to explain here. Next question is, if total cost is given as, that is TC is equal to 2y square minus 8y minus 4, the marginal cost is given by the derivative of the total cost with respect to y, dividing total cost by y, multiplying total cost first by price and then taking its derivative. D part is multiplying total cost by price and then dividing by y. So the correct option is taking derivative of total cost with respect to y. That is, if TC is equal to 2y square, we have minus 8y minus 4. It is we take the derivative, that is dTC, differentiating total cost with respect to y, dy. So this becomes 2 to the 4y minus 8 is the marginal cost. So we take the derivative of total cost function with respect to y. Next question is, if x square is equal to 81, then x is equal to, so it is straightforward. If x square is equal to 81, then we can write it as 81 can be written as 9 into 9, which is equal to 9 square. So x square is equal to 9 square. This square gets cancelled. We get x is equal to 9. So option B is correct. Next question is, Lagrange's multiplier. The option is equals ratio of benefits to costs. Second is equals ratio of costs to benefits. C is equals marginal rate of substitution, and D has no intuitive meaning. I guess the correct option is the D one. Why? Because this Lagrange's multiplier is used to find the local maxima or minima subject to the equality constant. That is, if we are given maximize utility function, let us say xy, subject to the budget constraint, let us say 2x plus 3y is equal to 50. So this is here budget constraint. Then we use the Lagrange's multiplier in finding the optimal values. So it is used in finding local maxima, or we have to minimize the cost function. If we are given a cost function, let us say y square minus 2y subject to the production quota 2x plus y is equal to 36. In that case, we use the Lagrange's multiplier. So it has no relevance to any of the first three options. So the correct option is D. Next question is, the outward plugging of the production possibility curve shows First is increasing marginal cost, B is decreasing marginal cost, C is the production is efficient, D is X, Y are perfect complements. The correct option to this question is first, that is increasing marginal costs, because PPC is given by this. If we have here capital, also here we have labor, let us say this concavity of this PPC is because of the increasing opportunity cost. That means we have to sacrifice more units of one output for one additional unit of other factor, or I can say we have to sacrifice more factors for one additional increase in the factor. So there is increasing opportunity cost. Here it says the increasing marginal cost. This is true, I guess. Next question is, so there is no question. If you really like this video, please share, subscribe. Okay, thank you.